Hold on for a moment. If you currently receive SSI, SSDI, or Social Security payments, what you're about to hear could directly affect your financial security. Starting today, the Social Security Administration has officially rolled out new policy updates that are already affecting millions of people across America, and most retirees still have no idea these changes are happening to their benefits. These new rules could either boost the money you receive or cause a major reduction if you miss a critical deadline. This is not a rumor. This is not a future plan. These changes are taking place right now. Do you receive SSI? The resource limits have officially changed, and if you do not act quickly, you could end up flagged for an overpayment that may lower your monthly benefits. Are you receiving SSDI? There is an important revision to the substantial gainful activity guidelines that your representative may not have explained to you yet. And if you are retired and collecting regular Social Security, updated COLA adjustments and earnings rules could either increase your monthly payment or quietly lower it based on one small factor you may not even realize. Thousands of retirees are already reaching out to local SSA offices worried and confused. Do not let yourself become one of them. In this video, I will break down every important update, explain what it means for your specific benefits, cover the deadlines you absolutely cannot miss, and show you the exact actions you should take immediately to protect your income. This is the largest Social Security update of 2026, and you are hearing about it at exactly the right moment. Tap the like button right now so YouTube keeps sharing this important information with seniors who genuinely need to hear it. And before we get into all the details, I want to quickly welcome you. If you're watching this video, it shows that you care about protecting your financial future, and that already places you ahead of millions of Americans who still do not understand what has changed. So make sure you stay until the very end fully informed, because today's discussion impacts every individual receiving Social Security income in this country. Whether you receive SSI, SSDI, or retirement payments, every single one of you needs to know this information. Now, I realize many people have heard Social Security updates before, and usually nothing seems to truly affect them directly, but you need to understand something very important. What is happening in 2026 is completely different from the smaller changes we have seen in previous years. These are major system-wide revisions, updates to policies, formulas, limits, and qualification standards that determine how much money you receive and whether you remain eligible. This is not simply another COLA increase. This is not a tiny cost of living adjustment that barely changes your payment. This is a major restructuring of important SSA rules that have been in place for decades, and the impact is already being experienced right now by real Americans just like you. Let me start with some important background, because understanding the bigger picture truly matters. The Social Security Administration has been facing tremendous pressure during the last several years. You have probably heard conversations regarding the Social Security Trust Fund and fears surrounding its future financial stability. For many years, economists, policy experts, and lawmakers have warned that without major reform efforts, the system could eventually encounter serious financial challenges within the coming decade. Now, let me make something completely clear for anyone feeling anxious. Social Security is not disappearing. Let me repeat that again. Social Security is not going away. However, the methods used to calculate, manage, and distribute benefits are changing, and those updates carry real consequences for people who depend on these programs to survive. The SSA has also introduced significant internal improvements. They have upgraded their systems, modified the way overpayments are handled, updated communication procedures with beneficiaries, and revised important administrative policies that affect how fast your case is reviewed and how disputes are resolved. If you have ever dealt with the SSA over a mistake before, you already know how stressful and confusing that experience can become. Although these new procedures are intended to improve efficiency, if you do not understand them properly, they can actually create new problems for you. So now, let us begin with SSI, Supplemental Security Income. Because if you currently receive these benefits, you need to pay extremely close attention to what comes next. SSI exists to support individuals with limited income and financial resources, and one of its most important rules has always involved asset restrictions. For decades, individuals could only keep $2,000 in countable assets, while couples were limited to $3,000. If your savings or resources exceeded those amounts, you could lose eligibility for SSI completely. And here is the shocking reality. Those limits had remained unchanged since 1989. That means more than 30 years passed without any increase, even while inflation dramatically raised the overall cost of living. Now, in 2026, that situation is finally changing. SSI asset limits have officially been increased as part of broader modernization efforts. This is truly positive news for people who spent years carefully managing every dollar simply to remain below the old limits. For decades, seniors and people with disabilities were essentially penalized for trying to save money. Attempting to build even a small emergency fund could place your benefits in danger. That system was unfair, and these new updates are beginning to correct those issues. However, you still need to remain careful because higher limits also bring stricter reporting requirements. The SSA is now closely reviewing financial records, and their updated systems are much better at identifying differences between reported information and actual financial data. If you receive SSI and have failed to properly report a bank account, gift, or additional resource, you should fix that immediately. Overpayment policies have also changed in 2026, and not necessarily in a way that benefits you. Let us discuss overpayments because this is where many seniors encounter serious trouble. In the past, if the SSA decided that you had been overpaid, they usually withheld around 10% of your monthly benefits to recover the money. While still difficult, most people could manage that situation. But new policy revisions have increased how aggressively overpayments are now collected. If you receive an overpayment notice, never ignore it. This is incredibly important. Do not place it aside and assume the issue will disappear on its own. You have legal rights, including the ability to appeal or request a waiver if repayment would create financial hardship. But those protections only apply if you act before the deadline, which is usually 60 days from the date printed on the notice, not the day you actually receive it. If you believe the overpayment is incorrect, and many cases are, file for reconsideration immediately. You can complete this online, over the phone, or by visiting an office in person. You may also request a waiver asking the SSA to completely forgive the debt. Many waivers are approved, but only when people specifically request them. The SSA will not automatically present that option unless you ask for it yourself. Now let us move to SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance. If you receive SSDI, there are important 2026 updates that specifically affect you. SSDI supports individuals who previously worked and paid into the system but can no longer work because of a disability. One of the most important rules involves substantial gainful activity, also known as SGA, which determines how much money you are allowed to earn while continuing to qualify for benefits. In 2026, SGA limits have increased. The monthly earnings threshold for non-blind individuals is now higher and even higher for people who are blind. This adjustment happens every year and is especially important if you are attempting to return to part-time work. Many SSDI beneficiaries worry about losing their payments if they begin earning income, which is completely understandable, especially because SSDI is often connected to Medicare coverage. However, SSDI includes work incentives that are specifically designed to help people safely transition back into employment. One of the most valuable protections is the trial work period, which allows you to work for up to 9 months without losing benefits no matter how much you earn. After that, there is a 36-month extended eligibility period where benefits may restart if your earnings fall below the SGA threshold. These protections are extremely valuable, but only if you properly report your work activity accurately and on time. The Ticket to Work program has also received updates. This optional program connects beneficiaries with job training and employment assistance services. It is completely free, voluntary, and can help protect your benefits while you explore possible work opportunities. Now, let us talk about retirees collecting regular Social Security benefits. The 2026 updates here are both helpful and complicated. First, the COLA adjustment for 2026 was calculated using CPIW data, which measures inflation for urban workers. Although this is intended to preserve purchasing power, many people argue it does not accurately reflect the true expenses seniors face, especially medical care and housing costs. There is continuing discussion about switching to CPIE, which could eventually lead to larger adjustments. Second, earnings limits for retirees who continue working have been updated. If you are below full retirement age and continue earning income, going above the limit will reduce your benefits. Once you reach full retirement age, that earnings limit no longer applies. Third, the Social Security Fairness Act removed provisions that previously lowered benefits for certain public employees. Because of this, many individuals are now receiving larger payments, including retroactive increases. Medicare has also been impacted. Part B premiums and IRMAA thresholds have changed. If your income recently decreased because of major life events, you may qualify to appeal and lower your premiums. Many seniors end up overpaying simply because they never realize this option exists. Surviving spouses should also pay very close attention. You may qualify for either your own benefit or your spouse's benefit, depending on which amount is higher. Strategic timing decisions can dramatically affect your total lifetime income. If you have not claimed benefits yet, remember that filing early permanently reduces your monthly payment, while delaying benefits increases the amount you receive. Finally, stay alert for the growing number of scams targeting Social Security recipients. The SSA will never call demanding payment or threaten suspension of benefits over the phone. Always confirm communications directly through official channels. Now, here's exactly what you should do today. Create or sign into your My Social Security account. Carefully review your information and contact the SSA immediately if any of these changes affect your situation. Share this information with your family members as well. Stay educated and continue being proactive. The system is evolving, but remaining informed is the best way to protect the benefits you worked hard to earn.